getting older. Since yesterday, since the year that you passed away, these things used to be hard to accept. Now they're hard to decline. Ending this lifelong project to come to life. So please try not to forget that I love you. And even if you're up there alone, one day I will carry you home. Oh, one day I will carry you home. I promise, I promise. I haven't seen or thought of a reason why you've been taken away. The good die young and the great die younger, evil and power to validating each other. And I will never forget this pain. Even if the time comes, I jump the train. I know good things are worth waiting for, so why did the world take you so early? So please try not to forget that I love you. And even if out there alone, one day I will carry you home. One day I will carry you home. I promise. I promise.
All right, everybody, it is time again for another wonderful edition of Downpour Radio. I am your host, as always, Lightning Luke. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is our 10th episode, and we're just getting started here on DPR. We will be continuing yesterday's theme and exclusively playing music from trans, non-binary, and queer artists for the first hour of the show, so we're very excited for that. Then we'll bring you up to speed with a couple new releases from the Flail Records vault, including an official release of a classic track from folk punk legends Profane Sass. Also on the docket today, we'll be streaming a little bit of the Tejon Street Corner Thieves bus set from earlier today. Tejon is traveling around Colorado Springs all day in their bus playing shows for the people on their porch, so stay with us to hear a little bit about that. About halfway through today's show, we got a little bit of their live stream recorded, and we're going to play it for y'all. Then stick around, because you won't want to miss another crazy story from our good friends, the John Doe Boys, in the last hour of the show, and we'll be celebrating Western Wednesday after that until we hit the buzzer. All that and much more on today's episode of Downpour Radio. But first, let's keep the music flowing. We open the show with I'll Meet You Up There If You Promise to Give Me a Tour by Justin Arena. That's off their 2019 album Running Away to Canada, and we're going to keep things going with our highlight of trans, non-binary, and queer artists next. Up next, we have Roselit Bone from Portland, Oregon, playing Surgeon Saw from their 2019 album Crisis Actor. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. I am still Lightning Luke. And once again, this is Roselit Bone playing Surgeon Saw. You're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
The surgeon's son was sorry. By the airy light of the torches, the surgeon's son was sorry. The long night, the blacksmiths chained to their forges, and the idiot child of fire. The blacksmiths chained to their forges, and the idiot child of fire. Oh, the long night. To the sound of each other screaming, the soldiers slid like babies. To the sound of each other screaming, the soldiers slid like babies. The long night. Her chin still bleeding, all his eyes went crazy. Her chin still bleeding, all his eyes went crazy.
was Roselip Bone, everybody, playing Surgeon Saw. That is off of their 2019 album Crisis Actor, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio. I am Lightning Luke. We are exclusively playing music from trans, queer, and otherwise non-binary artists here on the first hour of the show of Downpour Radio. This is our 10th episode, so thank you so much for joining us. Sound off out there if you're on the YouTubes listening to us. Say hello and tell us how you're going out there and how you're doing. Up next, we have our friend Mary Wander. This is Lansing, Michigan from Mary Wander, and yeah, let's just jump right back into it. Keep the music flowing. You're listening to Downpour Radio. Thanks so much, everybody.
Tensions, but I can't stop feeling like you'll never get it. If this is all, then maybe I deserve it. If this is all, then maybe I'll keep on moving. I'm back from touring with my punk rock band, $100 in my hand. Walk around my hometown, I swear the trees are greener now. And I owe my mom $200 that I borrowed before I left. My phone broke a few days ago, so now I need a new one. And the dog needs food, my boyfriend screwed a girl while I was gone. My roommates trashed the house again, threw up all the wine. And all I want is to take my fucking $100 and get back in the car. Take me to Lansing. I can't fucking stand it here. Back to blank slate, screaming to the mic until I fucking disappear. All the moon runners feel like my family now. Take me to Lansing. I gotta get out of this You took me to breakfast to try to gain some semblance of composure. All I could do was write in my notebook and hope that it would soon be over. So smoke your fucking weed till you can't think, and I'll go sleep at April's. Go call so-and-so and what's her face and see how they make you feel. And I'm crying in the bathroom while you sing your soft songs. And I'm crying in the bathroom while you sing your soft songs. And I'm crying in the bathroom. I can't do this for long. And I'm crying in the bathroom. I can't do this for long. Can't do this for long. Can't do this for long. So now we're broken up. Well, sort of. We still like to talk. We're still friends. All I want for you is to be happy, and I'll find happiness too in the touring van with my punk rock band in Lansing, Michigan. And here with all aids, screaming to the mic until I fucking disappear. All the moon runners feel like my family now. Take me to Lansing. I gotta get out of this town.
You're listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Mary Wander playing Lansing, Michigan. That is a wonderful tune that we do enjoy here on the show, and it is off of the No Boyfriend November split that local news legend and Mary Wander put out last year. Thanks again for tuning in to Downpour Radio. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe if this is your first time here. We're going to keep the good times rolling here. Up next, Chatterbox and the Later Day Satanist off of their album Talk is Cheap, Guns Are Expensive. This is Ain't No Gravedigger, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
I've gotta get out of this plant trees every day in the sunlight. Instead, I work to make money to give to my landlords and bosses who left out to their own devices, rain rivers, and clear cut the forest. I don't think I can still swim in a snake. I always wear black 'cause this life is a goddamn wake. I've gotta get out of this place where the walls watch each move with their cold glassy eyes. To the mountains where even the sun hides behind the moon's face. If I were left up to my own devices, I'd probably plant trees every day in the sunlight. Instead, I work to make money to give to my landlords and bosses who left up to their own devices, rain rivers, and clear cut the forest. I don't think I can still swim in a snake. I always wear black 'cause this life is a goddamn wake. I try so hard not to run away, but I've got to leave this parched, haunted day. The sawtooth is beckoning to me. Ghosts, they follow everywhere, choking out the sweet, clean air. There's nowhere to run. I've gotta get out of this place where the trucks crawl to sleep and wait for the night. To the river up north that stares out through the eyes of a snake. Of this place where the walls watch each move with their cold glassy eyes. To the mountains where even the sun hides behind the moon's face.
You are listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Wayfairy, and that was their wonderful track Tree of Life off of their album See You There that came out last year. Wayfairy are good friends from down in the Bay Area who have put myself and a couple of my friends up every time we've gone through there and played some shows with them before. We played at their house and we played also at a venue with them. So our good friends Wayfairy, happy to get them on the show here. Thanks so much for listening, everybody, and we would be remiss to not play this next song on our first hour here where we are featuring trans and non-binary queer artists here on Downpour Radio. This next song is by our good friend Sparkle Carpet. We play it all the time here, but we're going to play it again. This is Mrs. Robinson Digs Me, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
So here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. No one else could love you like I do. Love you like I do. And what's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Am I dreaming or do you love me too? Do you love me too? I watch you from afar. It's so hard not to stare when your ankles lead to your calves, that lead to your thighs, and then to your ass. And I bet you've never known what it's like to be alone with another woman. And I ain't just another woman. If you were mine, Miss, get in my bed, you'd always stay. You'd always stay. I listen when you talk, and I notice when they don't. Many men are pigs, and I'll win you over with my feminine
wanted to be a princess. I never asked anyone to braid my hair. I never asked my mom to buy me things that I saw on the TV marketed towards girls. I never wanted to wear a dress, and I was never obsessed with the color pink or sparkly things, unicorns or fucking fairy wings. Gender never really meant that much to me, till people started telling me how it was supposed to be. Till the people that I love started to say, boys don't talk that way, boys don't dress that way, boys don't act that way. The problem I have with gender is that I'm not even sure whether I know what I mean when I say I'm a girl, because I feel that way. 'Cause boys can wear dresses and makeup, anyone can wear whatever they want. Girls can have short hair and muscles, and that's where I run into trouble. Because if I use she pronouns, well, what does that mean? Am I reinforcing a gender binary that I don't believe in, that I don't adhere to? I say I'm a woman, what's that supposed to tell you? Gender doesn't tell you a damn thing about me. It doesn't tell you what I like or how I act. It doesn't tell you how I speak. The people you love, they don't love you if they say, boys don't talk that way, boys don't dress that way, boys don't act that way. I think it's time that our culture moves past this fucked up notion that the way we act is dictated at birth, or that we have to choose. It's an imposed binary, either way we lose. So do what you want or dress how you feel. Don't let anyone tell you that gender is real. It's useless, oppressive, and boring, worthless and hurtful and stifling. I think it's time that we put it in its place. So come on, let's put gender into an early grade. I never again want to hear anyone say, boys don't act that way, girls don't act that way, boys don't act that way, boys don't act that way.
You were listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Gender is Boring by She, Her, Hers, our good friends who we like to play here a lot on the show. Before that, you heard Mrs. Robinson Digs Me by Sparkle Carpet. That's off of their album We Do Stairs. And the Gender is Boring song by She, Her, Hers is, of course, off of their Girl Angst album that came out in 2018. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lightning Luke. We are highlighting trans, queer, and non-binary artists here in the first hour of the show, and we got about a half hour left. Thanks so much for joining us. We heard from Justin Arena first, and we're going to play another track by Justin Arena, our good friends out in Massachusetts. This is Running Away to Canada off of the album of the same name that came out last year by Justin Arena, and you are listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
Under the rug, you are the foot that takes my life, and I am the grass. If you are the mouth, I'll be the victim. If you feel like a killer, I guess you get the picture. I will be whatever you need. Looking down at your head, I feel tall. We are both gonna mess up, but I don't think that matters at all. to pick a side. We could go to Ontario, hang out by the falls and play with animals. I know you always say you want a puppy. Let's get a puppy. I also want a puppy. This is my very last stand on earth. Or at least that's what it feels like. I'm afraid of everything surrounding me, but knowing we're together makes me want to scream with joy.
Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That's Justin Arena playing Running Away to Canada off of the album of the same name that came out last year. Here on Downpour Radio, as we highlight non-binary and trans and otherwise queer artists here in the first hour of the show. And up next, we have our friend Marissa Sendejas playing Running for the Gates. And you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. I am still Lightning Luke. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We really appreciate you being here, and we're going to get back to the music right here. Once again, this is Running for the Gates by Marissa Sendejas off of the 2012 album Into a Monster, and you are listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
My head is full of other people's complaints. I'm running for the door now, running for the door now, running for the gates, and I can only take so much. Inhale, exhale, grab a shovel, grab your pail, bury them thoughts down, 10 feet on the ground. Inhale, exhale, grab a shovel, grab a pail, bury them thoughts down, 10 feet on the ground. Cause it's bitch, complain, wish upon a shooter so to make the money ring. They'll never be satisfied, they'll never be gratified. Bitch, complain, wish upon a shooter so to make the money ring. The more you have, the more you want, the more you have, the more you want. Well, there's people dodging bullets while you're dancing in your dreams, and no one hears the silent whispers, no one hears that screams. There's people dodging bullets while you're dancing in your dreams, no one hears their silent whispers, no one hears their bloody screams.
Oh, sorry for the radio silence there, everybody. That, again, was Marissa Sendejas playing their track Running for the Gates here on Downpour Radio. And up next, we have our friend Rascal Miles. This is off of their Bridge City Sessions session. This is Summer Solstice, and you are listening to it right here on Downpour Radio. Once again, this is off of a Bridge City session, and you're going to hear the little intro in the video right here on Downpour Radio. Up next, again, this is Rascal Miles playing Summer Solstice on Downpour Radio.
Tell me that you love me, you know I'm all ears. If you jumped off a bridge, well darling, I'd jump too. Everything gets crazy when you're up in the air, but there's no asking questions when I'm falling for you. My fingers are calloused from playing so much. My voice is raspy and keeps cutting out, but I can't slow this pen and the song in my head. You see, this is the effect that you have on me now, and I can wait as long as you need. I'll take as much of you as I can get. I'm all in, couldn't help it if I tried. They say when something's so right, there's no denying it. Jumpstart my heart, how dare you? I was a hummingbird with a fractured wing. I am Antarctica at the start of spring. Oh sunshine, you got me melting. I've been getting you in flashes like a strobe light. When you're afraid of the dark, it's so refreshing to see. You are fireworks on the 4th of July. You make the shortest day the summer solstice to me. So yeah, I'll wait, 'cause I know what it's worth, and maybe one day I'll get to say all I want to you. But for now, yeah, I'll shut my mouth and just be there whenever you want me to. I spent the last year resisting romance, unlearning this script that was handed to me. They say that love is a game, well I see it more as a dance. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm working with 2 left feet. So let's wait and direct it ourselves, and I hope that our plot line never ends, and we can write scene after scene, only following acts with intermissions.
You're listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Summer Solstice by Rascal Miles off of their Bridge City Sessions session. You can go find that and a couple more tracks from Rascal online, who is out of Portland, and our love goes out to them. We are finishing up the last 18 minutes here of our first hour of the show, where we are highlighting exclusively trans and non-binary queer artists here on Downpour Radio as part of an extension of yesterday's Trans Day of Visibility. We don't believe that should be the end of it, and we're happy that a lot of these artists that we're already playing were already on our heavy rotation, which I think is the least that we can do here on Downpour Radio to lift these voices up. And we've got a request out there. This one is from our friend Mason, who is listening out there on YouTube. This is Empty Room by Aaron Incoherent, and you're hearing it here on Downpour Radio.
There were only nightmares last night, stitched together by crumbling staircases and houses filling with water. Empty rooms the loudest when your head is sick and always running from something.
Why have you given me to the edge of the world where there's nobody listening? And can you deliver me from this wretched unkindness and ask where the time is when
so shattered. Jagged teeth threatening to bite my arms. Not again. Enemies guiding me. My life depends on listening to them. Or so I thought.
Are you so satisfied? Has your razor done wonders like exhausting a lover? And what makes you so blind that you cannot defeat this or stand up to read this? Well, are you shifting this weight 'cause you just cannot carry the hate? Who are you shifting it to? When your heads carry bruises from breaking mirrors inside your room, why suddenly so tame? Has your fire burnt out or have you just enlisted in the crowd? Why suddenly so low? Have you given yourself to delivering the final blow? Locking your ears while your eyes close tears, building these fences to encase your resentments, exploding completely on those who hold dear and watching you to a mirror in this empty room. Yeah, I'm watching me do this to myself through a mirror in this empty room. Why suddenly so sad? Are you mad at yourself for the things that you feel you should have? What will rectify this? Should we hang by the neck or should you learn to not just give this? What do you call yourself now? Are you still voice of reason or now have you given yourself doubt? Are you so choked with strife that you can't stand up and just learn to get on with your life? Why suddenly so tame? Has your fire burned out or have you just encased it with drought? Why suddenly so low? Have you given yourself to delivering the final blow? Locking your ears while your eyes close, building these fences to encase your resentment, exploding completely on those who hold gently, and I'm watching you through a mirror in this empty room. Yeah, I'm watching me do this to myself through a mirror in this empty room.
I cannot say why the house didn't bury me last night, or the waves trapped me to the ceiling. But I woke up alive and in the pouring rain, with a voice in my chest sternly declaring, "This too I can handle."
100 years ago, they used to put on a white sheet and use a bloodhound against Negroes. Today, they have taken off the white sheet and put on police uniforms. They've traded in the bloodhounds for police dogs, and they're still doing the same thing.
Quite frankly, I'm exhausted from being angry all the time. But I found that it's hard not to be living with your eyes open wide. Turns out that they weren't lying when they said that ignorance is bliss. And just because these problems do not affect you doesn't mean that they do not exist. They're killing our boys for holding toy guns and kidnapping our students, murdering our loved ones. Why don't you understand you can't face the cops against themselves? Why don't you understand the judge won't prosecute himself? Why don't you understand you can't fight the system with itself? And no rights for everyone sitting quietly waiting for justice to come. And if you are neutral and idle, you're feeding into the problem. So don't turn the other cheek. Watching from the other side of the screen, you are as powerful as you allow yourself to be.
yourself to be.
You are listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Ludlow playing their track Trust No Cop. That's off of their Destroy What Destroys You album that came out back in 2017. Before that, by request, we heard Aaron Incoherent playing their new single that came out last week called Empty Room. I'm Lightning Luke, and you're listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. We're doing our best here to highlight non-binary, trans, and otherwise queer artists here for the first hour of the show, and we've got about 10 minutes left of that. Thank you so much for listening, and up next we have our good friends from here in Portland, Oregon. This is the Lillian Sawyer Band playing their original tune. There won't be any vocals on this next track, but these are some wonderful, wonderful pickers out of Portland. This is once again Frostbite by the Lillian Sawyer Band, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. everybody. That's the Lillian Sawyer Band playing Frostbite, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. Definitely go check them out. Lily is the best fiddle player in the Pacific Northwest. You can take it from me, everybody. I would know. And thanks again so much for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. I'm still Lightning Luke, and we've got a last song here in our first hour of the show here where we're featuring trans and non-binary and otherwise queer artists here on Downpour Radio. Thank you so much for listening, and this one is by special request. This is Turns Me On by Porch Cat off of their 2018 album Porch Cat. Thanks so much for listening. This is again Turns Me On by Porch Cat on Downpour Radio.
We went swimming in the bay and I couldn't look away. I fell in love with you. I've been staring into space, the constellations on your face. You take me to the moon. Your beauty is arresting, but I think maybe the best thing is when you're being you. It turns me on, it turns me on, it turns me on, it turns me on. Hey! Wear your heart on your sleeve, that's the way things should be. And I wouldn't change a thing. Give yourself a chance, baby, you know you can dance. And damn right you can sing. You're learning how to love yourself and how to not be someone else. 'Cause I love you being you. It turns me on, 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 it turns me on. Hey!
Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Porch Cat playing Turns Me On off of their album that is named as exactly the same as their band. That's Porch Cat from the album Porch Cat playing Turns Me On. And that puts a close to our first hour of the show. Thanks so much for listening to Downpour Radio, everyone. I'm still Lightning Luke, and we just finished up an hour of playing exclusively music from trans and non-binary queer artists. That doesn't mean we're not going to play any more of them, though, as we go along in the show here. We've got a lot of those artists as part of our heavy rotation anyway, and so we'll be happy to circle back around to some of them. But in the meantime here, we're going to get going on the second hour of our show here, and there were a couple of new exciting releases from Flail Records that really didn't get a whole lot of social media attention because we kind of quietly snuck them out there. Scott Machad's been quietly working away as we've been stuck in here in the quarantine, everybody, and we're going to listen to those two new tracks right now. One of them is a track from Profane Sass called In Motion that we have in fact listened to before here on the show, but it was just officially released by by Flail Records as they try to get out as much Profane Sass stuff as possible. So definitely go find them on Spotify and listen to any Profane Sass you can get your hands on. We certainly will be here on Downpour Radio. And after that, we're going to listen to a song that was actually written by our friend Scott Machad. It's by a band called Phantom Note that Scott used to be a member of. It is a song called Life I Want to Live. Life I Want to Live, again by Scott Machad, will be the second song we play, but first we're going to go back to our friends Profane Sass. This is In Motion, just released today, and you're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
I'm going south, 'cause I can't stay north.
For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. I've been on my back again. Can't feel the road under my soul. I've been on my chest again. Can't feel the load under this road. For life I wanna live. This is life I gotta end. For life I wanna live. This is life I gotta end. I've been on my feet again. Can't feel the road out to my soul's well. I've been on my head again. Can't feel the load onto my soul. For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. For life I wanna. For life I wanna live. For life I wanna live. For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. For life I wanna live. There's a life I gotta end. 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 For a life I wanna. For a life I wanna live. For a life I wanna live. For a life I wanna live. For a life I wanna.
You're listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Life I Wanna Live, written by our good friend Scott Machad and played by the band Phantom Note. That track just came out today from Phantom Note. That is the second track that they have had come out and released by our good friends at Flail Records. So thanks so much for listening, everybody. I'm still Lightning Luke, and we are in the second hour of our show, which means we are playing heavy rotation stuff here at Downpour Radio. If you like what you're hearing here in this second hour of the show, we have, in fact, our heavy rotation playlist up and available for everybody to hear over on Spotify. And I'm going to drop that heavy rotation link right here in the chat in just a second, everyone. Boom, heavy rotation, and it is there in the chat. Excuse me, everybody. It's in the live chat that you can get right now, and we're going to keep things rolling. Up next, we've got our friends Rent Strike playing The Road Giveth. That's off of their album 9 that came out back in 2018. Once again, this is The Road Giveth by Rent Strike, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio. Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Rent Strike playing The Road Giveth, and I tell you guys, I played a show with Rent Strike a few months ago at the end of 2019, and that was while Rent Strike was on tour with Chad Hates George, and I went up to Western Washington, and played a weird show with them. It was very fun, and the music was fantastic, but there was a little bit of a weird vibe. The Window Smashing Job Creators were also on that bill, and you would think with a lineup like that everyone would have had a great time, but there were some weirdos at the show who who definitely brought everybody down. But the biggest disappointment for me at that show was that John didn't play that song, and I gave him a hard time about it afterwards, and he promised he was going to play it for me at the next set that we were going to have in the same town, and that was when we were all going to go down to Texas and play at the Family Festival Folk Shit Up down there, and then unfortunately the coronavirus outbreak shut that down as well. So I'm going to hold John to that next time I hear him. He's going to have to play that song one way or another. And we're going to jump around here. Thanks so much for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody, and we're going to jump over to our friends the Tejon Street Corner Thieves here, and we're not going to do what we normally do, which is play a million songs off of their album, which we might get to a little bit later because we sure can't help ourselves. But you know, the Tejon Street Corner Thieves had a whole tour planned to go down to that music festival, and it had to be canceled, and some of them are struggling a little bit. There are members of that band that have kids and a family, and there is other members of that band who have well, let's just say their bank accounts could use some help. And so they were driving around Colorado Springs today, and they are still doing that right now in the Tejon Street Corner Thieves bus with their PA system blasted out the window, and they are playing music to anybody who would like to hear them in Colorado Springs. So if you happen to be in Springs right now and want a private performance from the Tejon Street Corner Thieves, just go online and shoot them a message right now saying we want you to come to our house. They won't get out. It'll stay up to code, and you'll be able to keep up with the social distancing. You can sit out on your porch with your mask on, and they will sit in the bus with the windows closed, and everyone will stay safe, but you'll still get a little bit of the Tejon Street Corner Thieves in your life, which we know is good for just about everybody. And earlier they live streamed a little bit of a performance that they did in front of somebody's house, and we're going to play a little bit of that next because we pirated it from them, and we hope they don't mind, but, you know, yarg is what we say to people who have issues with piracy. And this song is well, actually, I'll let them introduce it here. They won't tell you. Let me think here. I believe it was Whiskey Shivers they played first, and then they will introduce the second song and kind of tell you what they're doing. Once again, this is the Tejon Street Corner Thieves live from earlier today playing Whiskey Shivers, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio, everybody.
Thank you, folks. Yeah, if you're watching on Facebook Live, we are taking addresses from people around our hometown. We're driving around playing music from the bus. We hooked our PA up. Playing 2 songs. This is our second song. If you want to text your friends or whatever, tell them that we're doing this. They can send us an email. look at our Facebook page, and we're trying to make it to as many people as we can. We'll probably do this twice a week until they make us stop. Thank y'all so much. We have a long list of people, so we're gonna get out of here and try to play for as many people as we can today. Thanks so much.
All right, everybody. Once again, that was the Tejon Street Corner Thieves live from the Tejon bus, playing for a few friends out on their porch. If you're in Colorado Springs, give them a call and see if they'll come by and play for you. I'm sure they would do it for even $1, because that's just the time. That's just the times we're in right now. All right, we're gonna keep things rolling up next. Thanks so much for listening. I'm still Lightning Luke, everybody. I really appreciate you listening to Downpour Radio. And if you are listening out there and you haven't already, don't forget to like the video and subscribe as well to our YouTube channel. We are here every weekday from 2 to 5, except for Friday, when we'll be here just from 2 until 3. And in fact, we will be talking with Ian, who is one of the main organizers of the Coping with Dystopia live stream that's been running every single Friday, and we really do appreciate all of you tuning in here to Downpour Radio, and we're going to do our best to try and get you over and listening to the Coping with Dystopia live stream, which in fact will include the Tejon Street Corner Thieves this Friday. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more, and we'll be talking with Ian, who is one of the organizers there, about what they're doing, and a lot more here on the show in a few days. But we're going to keep the music rolling right now. We had a special request out there by, well, I think it was from all of you on the YouTubes out there. Up next, we have Holy Locust. This is off of their 2017 EP, Limbs Appear. This is Don't Come Knockin'. Once again, that's Don't Come Knockin' by Holy Locust, and you are listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
Try to put shackles around my wrist, but shackles on these wrists just don't ever fit. So 7 times tried and 7 times failed. Oh, just something about this boy just cannot be jailed. So as he turned to walk away, these last words he heard me say: "You can't chain me, you can't contain me, and you can't take me." Oh, I got something on my sleeve. I got something that you won't believe. So don't you come knocking on my door. And the preacher man came knocking at my front door. I said, "Preacher, what you knocking on my front door for?" He said, "You've been bad, you live a life of sin. How time you started worrying about the end." Well, Jesus can keep his wine, I'll drink that whiskey. I walking on this water ain't got nothing to do with me. See, sin's my business and mischief's my game, and nothing you can say is gonna change my name. So as he turned to walk away, these last words he heard me say: "You can't roll me and you can't score me, and you can't for me." Oh, I've got something on my sleeve. I got something that you won't believe. So don't you come knocking on my door. I said, don't you come knocking on my door, where you can knock, knock, knock all day long. But I'm just gonna sit here, well, sing my song. No, I will. Where you can knock, knock, knock till the door is on the floor, until the door is on the floor. And that tax man came knocking at my front door. I said, "Tax man, what you knocking on my front door for?" He said, "You've been bad, you ain't paid your dues. I'm here to make sure that it is you who lose. But that cash is just paper, and that gold just a rock. I'm getting real tired of this money talk. You can tax me to your heart's desire, but I'll be throwing them dead down into the fire." As he turned to walk away, these last words he heard me say: "You can't tell me and you can't sell me, lived on one foot. Till the sickness stretched its hands out from under the tree line. Oh no, fire spread through town, everyone's lost their mind. Still I wonder, where do we all go? How many bones can the earth hold? Is it our grave or is it our home? Preacher's house cast a larger shadow than mine. His pockets ring just a little bit louder than mine. Oh, he says we're all just waiting for the same ride. No first class, no coach, we all pay the same price. Still I wonder, where do we all go? How many bones can the earth hold? Is it our grave or is it our home? Lantern wash the night from underneath of the trees. I could hear the drums from hell and all the dancing of the feet. What I saw there next made me reach for my knife. Made my eyes sink 6 feet through my skull, took the body from my life. Still I wonder, where do we all go? How many bones can the earth hold? Is it our grave or is it our home?
Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That's our friends Clyde and the Mill Tailors playing folklore as we give you a little bit of piano music here on Downpour Radio. Again, I'm Lightning Luke. Thanks so much for listening. We're going to keep things rolling here and play a classic for you. This is the Window Smashing Job Creators off of their self-titled 2018 album. This is Olympia's Blues, and you're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
I smell bacon, I smell grease. It must be Olympia.
was the Window Smashing Job Creators, everybody, playing Olympia's Blues, and we're going to talk with the frontman of Window Smashing Job Creators, Captain ACAB, tomorrow, and we're actually, in fact, I'm going to speak with him a little bit later tonight, and we're going to talk about how that song came about when they were protesting and occupying a public restroom that they were not allowing houseless people to use. And yeah, we're going to be talking with Captain ACAB about that tomorrow, so definitely tune in and listen to us on the show tomorrow on Downpour Radio. I'm still Lightning Luke. That was the Window Smashing Job Creators, and we're going to keep things rolling with a little bit of music here. And at the top of the hour, we're going to be hearing another crazy story from the road from our good friends, the John Doe Boys, who were nice enough to call in and share a few stories. We heard one earlier in the week, and we'll probably hear another one, the third one and last story that they shared with me. We'll hear that next week as well as part of our continuing series of crazy tour stories here on Downpour Radio. But in the meantime, we're going to keep the music rolling here. Up next is our good friends Folk Faces. This is Rochester Rag off of their album Fat Ol' Rat that came out last year in 2019. Once again, Rochester Rag by Folk Faces, and I'm going to let their front man Tyler Westcott introduce this next one for you right here on Downpour Radio.
You hear me out there on the airwaves? This one goes out to the good people of Rochester, New York, the Flower City, Photo City, the 585. How y'all doing? Let's play a little game. This is called the Rochester Rag. Every time I say the word Rochester, you take a little sip of your beverage. It's a long way from Vermont to Buffalo. We got one more stop before we go home. Rochester, New York, where there's times to be had. Some of the best times I ever had was in Rochester doing that Rochester Rag. Hey, babe, do the Rochester Rag. Hey, babe, come with me, we gon' do the Flower City. Hey, babe, there's times to be had. We going to Rochester to do that Rochester Rag. They got the buck jar down on Monroe. That's where all the punk rockers like to go. If you need a banjo, get yourself to Burn Nunzio's. It's where Sunhouse dies, singing the blues. Joe Beard's still around playing those tunes, doing the rag. That Rochester Rag. Said, hey, baby, come with me. We gon' do the Flower City. Hey, baby, there's times to be here. We going to Rochester to do that Rochester Rag. Yes, we are. Frederick Douglass, Emma Goldman, Susan B. taught the people how to be free as they made their contribution. And they danced their way through the revolution, did the rag. Oh, that Rochester Rag. Said, hey, baby, come with me, we gon' do the Flower City. Hey, baby, there's times to be here, we gon' to Rochester to do that Rochester Rag. It smells great in May when the lilacs bloom. You go down and get yourself a cream out at the local saloon. Get yourself a can of worms. Syracuse is dirty, Buffalo's rough. Rochester must have that special stuff right in between, just like Goldilocks. Hey, babe, come with me. We're going to the Flower City. Oh, hey, babe, there's times we have. We're going to Rochester to do that Rochester Rag. Oh, yeah. To accurately describe anything, you have to talk about the good and the bad parts of something. You gotta be bipartisan. Everything isn't all sunshine and rainbows and unicorns all the time. Now, is it? No. So I'm going to take a quick moment and describe some of the downsides to the great city of Rochester, New York. Sometimes the crows black out the sky. God, be a little scary, I don't know why. The gunshots ring out almost every day, but don't scare the good people Rochester away. Yes, people down there like to ski and ride the white horse. Too much of anything is a problem, of course, except for that rag. You can't get it in a bag. Say, hey, babe, come with me, we gon' do the Flower City. Say, hey, babe, there's times to be here, we gon' to Rochester to do that Rochester Rag. Oh, yeah. Buffalo is my home away from home, but Rochester is where I was grown, where I cut my teeth. This place, it charges my blood. Where the people there like to jump and shout, and they know what it's all about, and they dance till the wee hours of the morn. Well, they sure like a reggae a lot. In the rock, lots of reggae bands, they all sound good, I love them all. The scene is great and vast, and we do that rag, that Rochester Rag. Oh, times we had. We're going to Rochester to do that Rochester rag. Well, I'm sure glad that me and my brother get along, 'cause I always drop by his place when I'm in town. I don't stay long, and then I'm gone, baby, gone just like Kodak. Say, hey, babe, come with me. We gon' do the Flower City, yes, we are. Hey, babe, this time's be here. We're going to Rochester to do that Rochester rag. Oh, that Rochester rag. Oh, the Rochester rag. Oh, the 585.
All right, everybody, that's Rochester Rag by Folk Faces, and that is the sweet voice of our friend Tyler Westcott. And in fact, Tyler Westcott is live right now over on the Facebooks. He is doing a little virtual happy hour for a staff of a bar that he enjoys out there in New York where he lives, and we're going to see if we can tune in a little bit once he gets going on a song. I'm kind of just looking at the visual here and waiting for him to play. He sure does like to tell a lot of jokes, and I think he's telling them a lot right now. So let's jump on over to Facebook here and listen to this live stream from Tyler Westcott of Folk Faces right now, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Could you hear these folks on the phone all right? Like, could you hear them coming through and whatnot? I hope so.
For those of you wondering what he's talking about there, he just did a little call-in segment with a friend of his and just put his phone on speaker, but I believe he's getting his harmonicas geared up and he's going to get in. Oh, here we go. Y'all are in for a treat on this one. This is Tyler Westcott on Downpour Radio.
Oh, here's a little tune from Bessie Smith that my man David Bromberg does a wonderful version of. It's called Send Me to the Electric Chair. Judge Your Honor, hear my plea before you open up your call. I crave no sympathy for what I'm about to recall. You see, I caught my gal messing around with a traveling man. I warned about that once or twice before. I grabbed my gun, I guess I went insane. The rest, I guess you already know. And I said, Judge, good kind judge, send me to the electric chair. Judge, oh please judge, you know I love that gal so dear. I want to take a trip down to see old Mr. Seaton down below. You know, I slice up my sweet patootie. I got to reach what I saw. And I said, Judge, oh please, Judge, send me to the electric chair. Judge, Your Honor, Mr. Sir, please send me to the electric chair. I'm sick and tired of waiting through all this red tape and bureaucracy, man. I just want to get out of here. I cut her with my bottle, I got her, kicked her in the side to the electric chair. 9 years locked in your rotten, stinking jail. And I said, Judge, Judge, oh please, Judge, send me to the electric chair. One more time.
That's Tyler Westcott from Folk Faces out there playing beautiful music on the Facebooks right now. He is live streaming right now in the Folk Faces group on Facebook. You can go over and listen to that as soon as you're done listening to Downpour Radio. Today we are just about at the top of the hour here. We're going to play a little bit more music and then get into our story time here on Downpour Radio. We're going to be hearing from the John Doe Boys once again, telling us a crazy time that actually involved me a little bit, where we had to cross paths after they had some unfortunate fortunes, and we are going to tune into that in just a few minutes. But just before we get to that, we are going to keep the music going here on Downpour Radio, everybody. Up next, we have our good friend Matt Pless playing a song off of his 2019 album Tumbleweed. This is Portland, after Portland, Oregon, I believe, or possibly after Portland, Maine. We'll find out as we listen up here on Downpour Radio. I said it before, I'll say it again. This is Matt Pless playing Portland off of the album Tumbleweed, and you are listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
Highway, take me anywhere but here, far from the trappings of my memory, where I can disappear and wake up where I'll find myself alone among the ghosts who haunt the open road, who never found a home. 'Cause I can hear you singing in the distance with your mandolin, silhouette against the burning sky, heading west with Portland on your mind. I found inspiration in your eyes that count the miles down the interstate, along the exit signs, to new horizons I can call my own. And so I'm heading where the drifters go and crazy dreamers roam. 'Cause I can hear you singing in the distance with your mandolin, silhouette against the burning sky. You're running where you've got no name, and everything begins again. Trade it in and leave it all behind, heading west with Portland on your mind. So fade away where twilight plays its song and sends you dancing through the rolling hills where mountains break the sun and Laughing shadows flash against the stones between where yesterday's mistakes create tomorrow's wild unknown. 'Cause I can hear you singing in the distance with your mandolin, silhouette against the burning sky. I'm sorry, babe, but I can't stay. I'm bound to ramble all my days. I hope you know you had me at goodbye. Heading west with Portland on your mind.
It's an inevitable feeling, an irrevocable dealing of the cards. And I'm just laying here praying you'll tell me it's hard, harder than it seems. My greatest disease, to fear all the things I don't know, like a wayfaring stranger or a lamb in a manger of scorn. And I'm just sitting here staring and bearing the
Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was High by our good friends Beggars Canyon, and before that you heard a wonderful track by Matt Pless that is in fact about Portland, Oregon. It's called Portland, and it's off of his 2019 album Tumbleweed, and of course that last track we heard, High, off of Beggars Canyon Volume 1, which came out back in 2018. Thanks again for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. I'm still Lightning Luke out here. I hope you're having a good time out there wherever you're listening. And up next, we've got story time here on Downpour Radio. We're going to jump back over to our good friends, the John Doe Boys, who will tell us a little bit about a crazy time that they had in Kansas, and they ended up crossing paths with me, Michael, and Clyde McGee, or excuse me, Michael being King Strang. King Strang, Clyde McGee, and myself were in Colorado and ended up meeting up with these guys when they had troubles in Kansas, and you'll hear why on this edition of Tour Stories on Downpour Radio. Let's get into it. These are the John Doe Boys, everybody. Let's listen up.
So, we were actually leaving Kansas in a different time, but leaving Jewel, Kansas, and we got a flat tire. Which on this bus, when the inner dually goes out, man, it's pretty scary. You just hear like a lot of machine guns kind of going off.
Yeah, it's
right underneath your ass.
The smack of the loose rubber hitting the inside of the bus wheel well is it's pretty violent.
Yeah, it's like you're in a giant tunnel of just loudness, just loud noise everywhere. But we had that show fall through right when we were getting the first tire fixed, and we're trying to figure out what to do, and then Connor ended up saying, "Hey, why don't you hit up the mill tailor, see if they can do anything?" And then Michael ended up hitting us up saying, "Hey, yeah, why don't you jump on our show here in Denver?" So we were all stoked. We're like, "Cool, yeah, we'll do it." So at least we got our show, and then our tire was fixed, and everything was going great. We get to the bar, and as Jeremy was backing up, there's this hole in the other side of the tire that you could put your fist through that apparently did not do what the other tire did. But we couldn't do anything. So we were like, screwed. We found out that it's a lot harder to get a good, cheap tire in Denver than it is out in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, which is really bizarre to me. But we decided at one point, because where Bar's at, there's so many different homeless and just tons of heroin addicts and whatnot around there. We were like, oh crap, okay, so what we should do is we should move the bus next to the bar. That way it's more safe and it's kind of incognito and less of a target. And we moved the bus, and what was it? It wasn't even 5 minutes later, all of a sudden there was a drug dealer going off, selling heroin right next to our bus door.
Yeah, we moved the bus closer to just because we had gear on it and shit, and we're like, oh man, it'd be safer if it's right next to the bar, whatnot. Well, it turns out we just made a nice little cubby for selling drugs. Now all of a sudden, we're the blockade between any potential law enforcement and all the drug dealings that are taking place. So we kind of made the situation a little worse for ourselves, and that's it.
Yeah, that was a fun time though. I mean, 2 flat tires in one day, and also get to help people sell drugs.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't even get a cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have asked for your cut at the end of it, and that'll be 10%.
Maybe a high five at least.
Yeah, high five or a nod.
But you got to get past the door price. So if you sell $100, we get 10%.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty fun. Yeah, I think that's one of the fun stories when, people.
That was funny too for us too, because we had a string of not awesome shows, and we were down in Colorado Springs before we were going to go up to play it, because we were backtracking that day, and everyone was kind of bummed out about the other shows, and so for us it was just awesome that you guys called and were asking to play it, because we don't cancel shows as a rule, but we were very much thinking what could we think of to not go into another one of these, and then you guys called and said you were looking for something, and we're like, okay, John Doughboys is coming out, then we gotta go now. So that was a funny night.
Yeah, that was a fun little show too.
Yeah, that ended up being a pretty good time. That was a cool place. Cool.
For a last minute show, I was amazed.
Yeah, that went off pretty well. That one turned things around for us too, and then we hooked up with Tejon, and everything was great from then on. So it might have been a bad omen getting the flat tire for y'all, but it sure lifted our spirits. So we appreciate it. That was, again, the John Doughboys telling a story of when they were on the road and got 2 flat tires in one day and had to hightail it out there. And one of the things that I had forgotten when they were telling that story that happened is that they came up and they had parked their bus, and the way they were describing it is exactly right. They parked their bus right next to the venue that we were playing at, that's Bar in Denver, and they'd kind of cut off one corner, and I think they thought they were really in a hidden place, because right behind it was a van that was also kind of closing off that same area, And in fact, that van was Jack Jack, the van that King Strang used to own and that we were traveling around in, and all three of us were napping in the van right then. That's Clyde McGee, King Strang, and I were all napping in the van and had the exact same reaction when we saw something weird kind of happen next to us, and had kind of had the same conversation amongst ourselves, and then got out and realized, oh my god, that's John Doughboys right there. They've been here the whole time. And then we reminisced about what had just happened, and I'd kind of forgotten the fact that we had ended up parked back to back like that, like they said there. But anyway, those are our friends, the John Doughboys. So it's a slightly tamer story that's just a little bit of bad luck for them and good luck for us because we got to see them. And thanks so much for listening. We are in the home stretch here, the last hour of Downpour Radio, and happy Western Wednesday, everybody. It's Western Wednesday here on Downpour Radio, and we're going to be closing out the show with only country, tonk, and western sounding music. And don't turn that dial if you think that's going to turn you off. We're not going to play any of the crazy hits or anything that you might hear on the radio. You're going to hear exclusively some DIY bands here. And while we were talking to John Doughboys, why don't we play a little bit of John Doughboys? This is Digging My Grave by the John Doughboys, and I'm Lightning Luke. Thanks so much for staying tuned in. You're listening to Downpour Radio, and we are here every day from 2 to 5 on weekdays, except for Friday, where we will be doing a pre-show every week for the Coping with Dystopia live stream that happens on YouTube and on Facebook. This next one is really exciting. We'll be talking a little bit more about it and setting that up tomorrow, but we do have our good friends Clyde McGee and the Tejon Street Corner Thieves signed up to play that this week, excuse me. And yeah, so we have a lot of great stuff coming up on today's show still. Stick around. This is Digging My Grave by the John Doughboys, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
hell to warm my feet. Hope I'm not so far down I can't still spit in his eye. It's the last good thing I like to do before I leave this world and I die, and I die, and I die. I got the devil, devil digging my grave, digging my grave. When I'm 6 feet down to this world, I'll be no slave, digging my grave. Ride that highway to hell, that bombs got paid, digging my grave. I got the devil's digging my grave, 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 hey, digging my grave, 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 hey.
Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was the John Doe Boys playing their song Digging My Grave, everybody, here on Downpour Radio. And we are in the home stretch, like I said before, so we're going to keep things rolling. Up next, we've got Barefoot Surrender playing Forgot My Name. That is off of the Barefoot Surrender album of the same name that came out in 2013. Once again, this is Forgot My Name by Barefoot Surrender on Downpour Radio.
What song are we playing again?
Well, I was smiling, hell, the sun was shining. my troubled mind.
Every new day starts with clucking chickens. Every evening ends with banjo picking. In the wintertime birds fly south. In the spring they'll be back again. But we still ain't got clean water in Flint, Michigan. Veterans still coming home with troubled minds, and the medicine that could help them still ain't legalized. While the red team and the blue team find it hard to be friends, still ain't got clean water in Flint, Michigan. Monday evening players still all take the field. Some people still don't understand just why they kneel. And the onlookers still pay. See some heads get bashed in. Still ain't got clean water in Flint, Michigan. The sun will still rise tomorrow morning. The urban pioneers are still out touring. Still nobody knows when it will all come to an end. We still ain't got clean water in Flint, Michigan. No, we still ain't got clean water in Flint, Michigan.
Thanks so much for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Urban Pioneers playing Flint, Michigan. That's off of their album Come Out Swingin' that came out in 2019. We've got a little bit more on the show here. We're going to keep it rolling. We got a busy schedule up ahead with all sorts of Western tonk and otherwise country-sounded music here on Downpour Radio. That was the Urban Pioneers, like I said before. And up next, we've got our good friends Lulu and the Black Sheep. This is Drunken Fool by Lulu and the Black Sheep off of their Hard Times EP that came out last year. Once again, Drunken Fool by Lulu and the Black Sheep on Downpour Radio.
Well, I'm a drunken fool, just stumbling around, trying to forget about all the things that are bringing me down. Well, I'm slipping and sliding, I ain't gaining no ground. And before I get my fill, think I might drown. Well, I'm a drunken fool, Lord knows it's true. Hell, I don't understand things that I do. Liquor does me right till she does me wrong. I keep shooting back till I'm blacked out, too far gone. Well, I'm a drunken fool, so drunk and blue. You know I can't stand to have just a one or two. I keep on drinking till I can't no more. Well, I'm a drunken fool, stumbling around looking for the door. Well, I'm a drunken fool, Lord knows it's true. Hell, I don't understand things that I do. Liquor does me right till she does me wrong. I keep shooting them back till I'm blacked out, too far gone. I keep shooting them back till I'm blacked out, too far gone.
One, two, one. Didn't wanna be anybody's baby till I was just like your fool. You made me feel like a kid in a t-shirt at the shallow end of a pool. I could tell you the season, night why some bird flew. Who love ain't bound by reason, and all my reason ends at you. I've been watching some reruns, staring in refrigerators' lights. All around the water towers, I'm just waiting in a drive-through line. Remember when you first approached me? You asked me where I'd come here from, the place that I'd left so proudly is now the place to where you've gone. You had one turn mean against you, still you worry where he might go. Won't you just leave him be, clean his dust from off your door? I've been watching some reruns, staring in refrigerators' lights. All around the water towers, and I've just collected a cereal box prize. That time we fell asleep, had the body so close together, could feel about each other so differently. I'll find words make you laugh loudly, and I'll find words more sweet than this. For you I'll always find words make more of us than there is. I'll keep watching the reruns, staring in refrigerators' lights. All around the water towers, I'll be wondering when you'll give me your time. Didn't wanna be anybody's baby till I was just like your fool. You made me feel like a kid in a t-shirt at the shallow end
2017. Chris Acker and the Growing Boys are friends from down in New Orleans, and our love goes out to them as well. New Orleans by way of Seattle, in fact. And we're going to keep things rolling here on Downpour Radio. Up next, we've got our good friends, the Good Gollies. This is Rosemary by the Good Gollies, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Rosemary, how could our love be just ordinary? I wait for you all night and day, dear. How could you just leave me? Rosemary, my dear. Rosemary, she's the sweetest little strawberry. When she walks by, the boys say 10 Hail Marys, but they don't know that she is mine. I'm thinking on her all the time. When it's dark in my room, I sing my lonelies to the moon, hoping that you will somehow hear me, but I keep singing till you come back to me. Oh, sweet Rosemary, darling, can't you see what you done to me?
Rosemary, I love you. I mean, I hate you. I mean, where did you go? Where are you? Come back. Well, actually, on second thought, maybe it's best if you just stay away. I still think about you a lot, though, Rosemary, after all this time. And, you know, certain things bring it back, like cooking with my favorite spices. And I mix rosemary and thyme, and I think about Rosemary, you, and the time that we had. And I wonder, can rosemary and thyme ever have a savory ending for us?
Rosemary, how could our love be just ordinary? I wait for you all night and day, dear. How could you just leave me? Rosemary, my dear.
Well, folks, that was Rosemary by the Good Gollies here on Downpour Radio, and I just had a little bit of an epiphany over here. Every time I've heard that song, it reminds me of something else, and when you hear a lot of these traditional country songs, it's not uncommon for them to, in fact, just lift a melody from a different song and write new lyrics to it, which some might call plagiarizing, but as the saying goes, what is it? Amateurs imitate and artists steal. And so that one lifted a tune that's been used a lot by a bunch of different people, and the one that I've always thought that tune was familiar, and it just finally hit me while we were listening to that if we'll play that back right at the beginning for you, you'll hear it here. It'll be, it's coming up in a second here.
Rosemary, how could our love be just ordinary? I wait for you.
So that melody right there that you just heard If it sounds familiar to you, it's because it's from another song that I think you all may have heard before. If you can think of what that song is, go ahead and shout it out. You've got about 20 seconds until I reveal the answer here. Can anybody hear what that song is? I don't think anybody's going to guess it here, so let's just play a little bit of the song that is clearly taking a little bit of a riff from. It's this kind of schmaltzy old tune. Do you have it yet? Do you know what it is? Here it comes.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight.
That's Santa Baby by Eartha Kitt, and it's also the same melody that you just heard on that last track we played by the Good Gollies. That's Rosemary from the Mashed Potato Records compilation that came out last year, and you can go hear that. All sorts of fun stuff when you're listening to traditional music like this, and we do like to make those kinds of observations here on Downpour Radio. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. I'm still Lightning Luke, and we have about a half hour left on today's show. Thanks for sticking with us, and we're going to keep things rolling with our friends Folk Faces. Once again, you heard him earlier. You heard Tyler Westcott from his live stream, and this is a little swing. It might not be totally Western, but we're going to go ahead and count it. It's called We Swing by Folk Faces off of their 2019 album, Fat Ol' Rat. And you're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio. Woohoo! That was We Swing by Folk Faces. You're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. We've got just a little bit more left on the show. Thanks for sticking with us. And up next, we're going to play our friend Esther Rose. This is Handyman. That was released back in 2019. Once again, this is Esther Rose playing Handyman, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Takes a little elbow grease and some spit shine
your mind. Ooh, try, and I hope you change my mind. Won't you try, and I hope you change your mind. Ooh, try, and I hope you change my mind. Won't you try? A rock came tumbling down the mountainside, and we got in the river and we went down 7 times. We held on tight as the current dragged us down. Just me and you and the river and no one else around. What about the time outside the VFW hall? You swore your love for me was different from them all. And we danced real close, and I held on tight. Pretty people on the dance floor swayed, and the band played into the night. And I hope you change your mind. Ooh, try, and I hope you change my mind. Won't you try, and I hope you change your mind. Try, and I hope you change my mind. Won't you try?
No, life ain't hard. Put it on the card. You got your brand new cars, your big cigars. Hell, we're about to make it to Mars. Nice new clothes, no more Eskimos. You got your average Joes, your semi-pros, and a whole bunch of superstars. Granny's been cooking since 1945. Papa's been working every goddamn day of his life. No, it's not the same. No one can complain. You got your big old things, your tiny brains. Hell, I'm about to go insane. Sometimes you're broke. Life is but a joke. Spending nickels and dimes on something to smoke and little bitty bags of coke. I've been smoking since 1999. I never graduated, but I seem to be doing just fine. No, life ain't hard. Oh, ain't it neat, living on Easy Street. You got lots of gas, fast taxi cash, and you always got plenty to eat. Oh, but it ain't nice, living on beans and rice. Everybody around you just putting you down, ain't nobody treating you nice. I've been turnstile and junk piled too. Been railroaded, but I just had to get on through. No, life ain't hard. No, life ain't hard.
That's our friend Tommy Luke playing Life Ain't Hard off of his album of the same name, Life Ain't Hard, that came out in 2018. Pretty much everything we've been playing in the last hour and everything we play almost as a rule here on Downpour Radio was released in the past few years, and everything we've played in this hour of the show has been released in the last, with the very unique exception of that 30 seconds of Santa Baby that we played. Everything that we've played here has been released in the last 2 or even 3 years here on Downpour Radio. So thanks so much for listening to Western Wednesday. Just because it's Western doesn't mean we're playing your grandparents' music. We're playing hot new music here on Downpour Radio. And up next, we've got something that fits that bill indeed. Mama's Broke playing Wreckin' Need off of their album Count the Wicked. And you're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
get to thinking about where I'm from. I start drinking hard and talking fast and come undone. And the worst is, I know you feel this. You might be the only one. First one down through second last. Got the whole crowd laughing, breathing cast by the last one. I'm far from done. We're moving down hard and fast. But I'll come back this way and I'll marry you someday. If you promise that you'll never ask me to put the bottle away. There's a kitchen window in my mind and my pretty glass bottles all in a line. When all I found when I turned around is that man on the floor. I got a mirror and I got a floor. What will you do when my body goes cold? Did you warn me? Will you scorn me? Wish I had never been born. But I'll come back this way and I'll marry you someday. If you promise that you'll never ask me to put the bottle away. Oh, I'll come back this way and I'll marry you someday. If you promise that you'll never ask me to put the bottle away. It's hard to see so honestly, but I know you got it bad like me. That reckoning. I'll come back this way and I'll marry you someday. If you promise that you'll never ask me to put the bottle away. Oh, I'll come back this way and I'll marry you someday. If you promise that you'll never ask me to put the bottle away. I spit poison at all you bad boys, and God knows by now I got plenty good reasons to keep on holding the wrong side of the knife in my hand.
That's Mama's Broke playing Wreckin' Need here on Downpour Radio off of their album Count the Wicked that came out in 2017. And we have just time for a little bit more music here. We started our show with an exclusive hour of trans and non-binary queer folks music. And if you happen to have been inspired by any of the aforementioned folks, go ahead and reach out to Jellypipe Media. That is doing, they're doing a project on queer folks and feminine folks, in fact. Just reach out to them and talk to them about somebody who might have influenced you. They're just gathering some stuff. And Jellypipe Media, somebody who we like to play here on the show, and a friend of the show, in fact, a very good friend. And they have a series up on Facebook called Just a Bite that you can go check out. It's also over on their YouTube channel, which you should definitely head over and subscribe to. I'll drop a link in the comments in just a minute here with Jellypipe Media's YouTube channel. But let's jump into our friends Jesco Payne, who don't have much out at this point, but I've heard a little sneak peek of this album, and you guys are really going to like it. The track that we're going to hear later is not quite as Western as you might think, because it hits a little bit heavier, but it does have a Western feel to it, and Jesco always wears the cowboy hat, so we're going to go ahead and count it. And this is Just a Bite from Jelly Pipe Media that they did of Jesco Payne, and we're going to play it for you next here. It's just about a minute and 18 seconds of a live performance that they did. Let's tune in. This is tuned by Jesco Payne, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. This is Cardinals by Jesco Payne. Just a bite of it here on Downpour Radio.
Flying down them back roads again, fucking with them like real sin. Hold my head up high so I won't choke. On that Friday I struggle in the truck. On trips and children with you. Got your own. Waiting in the dead of night. Oh, I smoke all the breaks of mine. Yeah, guess what? Still on the sea. Now Winston Cardinal sitting in the wind. That movie gas in my throat. The Lord knows the prettiest little girl ain't on my own, but she don't know like you do, baby. She don't know me like you do, baby. Well, she don't know like you do, baby. She don't know me like you do.
That's Jesco Payne playing at their performance at the Twilight a little while ago. That's courtesy of Jelly Pipe Media, who you should reach out to if you know any feminine identifying folks who have influenced you. Go reach out to them and tell them what they mean to you, and tell them a little bit more. But that was Jesco Payne, our good friend from here in Portland, Oregon, who also runs Low Shelf Recording, and we're going to play a sneak peek from that album that Jesco Payne is working on with Jesco Payne and the Painkillers. This is Speechless by Jesco Payne on Downpour Radio.
Spilling my tears almost every day, and I hang my head 'cause it's a goddamn shame. I miss you still, yeah, I miss you still. When I say some things that never change, you got my heart, babe, and I remain. 'Cause I love you still.
Well, I never had a waffle at the Waffle House. Well, I've been there about a million times. Never had a waffle at the Waffle House, 'cause a biscuit just costs 20 dimes. Long sausage, egg, and cheese with hash brown scatter, covered chunk with a pickle on the side. I never had a waffle at the Waffle House. Well, I've been there about a million times. Now before a long day of trucking, there's only one thing that'll satisfy. It's some little yellow square sitting off in a distance, and I tell you that ain't no lie. Yeah, I travel this country eating breakfast every day for lunch or dinner any old time. After all my times at a Waffle House, there's only one thing that I'll never try. Said I never had a waffle at the Waffle House. I've been there about a million times. Never had a waffle at the Waffle House, 'cause a biscuit just costs 20 dimes. Long sausage, egg, and cheese with hash brown scattered, covered chunk with a pickle on the side. Never had a waffle at the Waffle House, so I've been there about a million times. Tell 'em, Liz. I went down to my favorite Waffle House, and the waitress said to me,
Well, hey there, Suge, it's been a while. Have a seat and what would be? I got pecan chocolate chip waffles. I got waffles of any kind. Have you ever had a waffle at the Waffle House? I know you've been here about a million times.
and I told her I ain't never had a waffle at the Waffle House. Well, I've been there about a million times. Never had a waffle at the Waffle House, 'cause a biscuit just costs 20 dimes. Long sausage, egg, and cheese with hash brown scattered, covered chunk with a pickle on the side. Never had a waffle at the Waffle House. Well, I've been there about a million times. Tell 'em again, Joe. Sing it with me. I ain't never had a waffle at the Waffle House. Well, I've been there about a million times. I never had a waffle at the Waffle House, 'cause a biscuit just costs 20 dimes. Long sausage, egg, and cheese with hash brown scattered, covered chunk with a pickle on the side. Never had a waffle at the Waffle House. I've been there about a million times. Said I never had a waffle at the Waffle House, but I've been there about a million times.
Well, folks, that does it for today's edition of Downpour Radio. Thanks so much for listening. We are off the air until tomorrow at 2 p.m. West Coast time. That's 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Lightning Luke. Hope you enjoyed this edition. We heard from a bunch of queer artists in the first hour of the show. We heard a story from the John Doe Boys about their troubles in Kansas, and we played our heavy rotation during that second hour before we celebrated Western Wednesday here, playing Western music and otherwise country tunes from the last 3 years and new artists that you should all go check out. As always, please remember to like and subscribe on your way out the door, and without further ado, here's our last song of the day. This is Laughlin, Nevada by Roselip Bone. This is off of their album Crisis Actor that came out last year. Roselip Bone, a wonderful band from Portland, and again, this is Laughlin, Nevada by Roselip Bone, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
The more